Hey, Nathan.
Yes, Blake.
How long do you think I should leave it till I start reading out the results of the dog show?
I don't know. How's this week's episode looking?
I suppose we just do a quick rundown at the end, can't we?
Yeah.
There was a good border collie on there, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Are you going to introduce us
sorry,
again? That's
yeah,
all right.
sorry.
Just having a good... I thought you were going to follow through with a joke about the border collie thing.
no.
Like, okay, I'll and yes and him and see where he goes with it.
No.
We're not improvisers here.
I am playing with that. I was just telling you there was a good border collie. It was best in show. That's all I'm saying. So, welcome everyone to Going In Raw. That was a bit of a Vince McMahon style intro there. My name is...
I don't know, you haven't got that. Welcome!
True. I haven't done like a key worth of cocaine before we started recording. Unlike last time when I was quite giddy.
Yeah.
We're talking today. Oh, I'm Blake. I'm a wrestling superfan, and my sort of tag team partner, shall we call him, is 3.5 metric tons of sexual aggression. It's Nathan.
I like that. Can I have that on my business cards?
You can have that every week if you want. And we're talking today about the 15th of February 1993 edition of Monday Night Raw. Mm-hmm. They missed my good joke at the beginning because they missed a week last week, didn't they, because of the dog show?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, so... on the commentary team tonight, we have the usual... Well, I say we have the usual.
Yeah, the commentary was a bit weird tonight, but we'll get in that when we actually get into the episode. But theoretically...
Yeah, so for about 14 seconds at the beginning, the commentary team is Vince McMahon, Macho Man, and Rob Bartlett. But the show cold opens on Brutus the Barber Beefcake, snapping his scissors in a very sort of firm scissor punch style, like level of aggression. And he's sort of just talking a little bit about his match later on with Ted DiBiase. The $1 million man.
No, it's DiBiase, apparently.
The $1 million man.
The $1 million man.
And he's basically saying, yep, I'm going to kick your butt. I've
Yeah,
not been in the ring for 2 years. I've got to warm myself up for my grudge match next month against a Parasailor's knees. And I'm going to take out all my aggression.
Next week I'm going to be beating up the boat.
And then it cuts to Ted DiBiase, who's basically giving his retort.
Basically, I'm going to smash your weak little face.
Yeah, basically.
You can't take a pair of knees to the face, dickhead.
Like DiBiase just just for fun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He just takes like loads and loads and loads, like a big long like trail of Parasailor's knees just right in the dome. And I wonder what all the laughing was about. Ted DiBiase sees something.
He's having a great old time, isn't he?
It's like, have you seen that episode of Peep Show where those Australians move in with the lads in the flat?
No, I haven't.
Oh, and Jeremy says to Mark, like, oh, it's all the laughing. What are they always laughing about? What's so funny? That's what I was thinking about with all the laughing. I was like, what is it? So yeah, they're basically sort of gearing up for their grudge match later on this evening. And Ted DiBiase is talking with Jimmy Hart. And they're basically just saying, yeah, they're going to have a good match. Ted DiBiase, like you say, is going to smash his face in.
Yeah.
And Brutus Barber Beefcake's like, well, no, you're not. We go to ringside, and we've got our commentary team, Vince McMahon, Macho Man, and Rob Bartlett. Rob Bartlett's dressed like a dark-sided John Travolta from Saturday Night Fever. He looks like
He does.
like a Mr. Sinister version, like his colours have been inverted.
And I've got to say, Vince McMahon is full of beans today.
Yeah,
he's loving every second of it.
I think I'm feeling quite giddy, and I think that's probably rubbed off on me from Vince McMahon being very, very giddy all evening.
And you know who else is like on the top of his game today? Macho Man Randy Savage. He's posing, he's flexing, he's so happy to be here. And you pointed this out to me, but on his left bicep now, on his t-shirt.
I'm glad you said on his t-shirt, like
on
he's
his
got it
t-shirt.
tattooed, so he can never forget. What would he do when they change the slogan in 3 weeks? It's like, oh shit.
Just so he doesn't forget it, he's got uncut, uncooked, uncensored.
And if you think of the way the desk is set up as well, his arm will be facing towards the other two. So if they ever get stuck, they can just quickly glance over. So it's a good visual aid for them all.
I'm just imagining like Vince starting it's like uncut, and then Rob Bartlett's like, what? But he's like, Macho Man's there flexing his bicep. He's like, look here, Robbie boy.
Well, I mean, he's not really going to be a factor for long, is he, old Rob Bartlett?
Oh, bless him.
They don't kill him, don't worry. That sound like they were going to
I
kill
don't
him.
know. Like Vince McMahon was especially at his throat today.
Yeah, I think the sort of the love affair is running its course now, isn't it? I think they're starting to get slightly sick of each other.
And yeah, this starts off Because like Vince McMahon like tries to have a conversation with Rob Bartlett, and I didn't quite understand what Vince was saying, so I don't blame Rob Bartlett for being a bit confused. But Rob's just like, I'm just worried about messing up my suit, and Vince just looks at him silently for a couple of seconds, and then turns to address the camera. It's like, okay, this conversation's just not happening apparently.
Son of a bitch. No, I think what he was saying to him was, "Oh, do you want to enter the battle royal later?" I don't know why you'd ask. That doesn't normally happen, does it? Like, he's working in one very distinct part of the business. Do you want to have a go? Do you fancy having a go? And he's like, oh, I don't want to soil my suit, which I took to mean he's going to shit himself. Because I would, if I was in there with 16 gigantic men. And Vince is like, well, that I can't work with this level of cowardice. I'm not having any of this.
I'm not used to this sort of worm.
Yeah, no one's ever said no to me before. And I don't like it.
What? Say that again, you son of a bitch.
So we get a nice... Everyone's getting on fantastically.
Yes.
They're all getting on well. And we go to ringside for our first match of the evening, which is the Steiner Brothers, Rick and Scott Steiner.
Mm-hmm.
And they're taking on Glenn Ruth, who, if you remember, he was wrestling Marty Jannetty, I believe, a few weeks ago.
Yes,
I believe I've got that right. And Bobby Watt.
Bobby who?
Bobby how?
Bobby when?
He's wrestling Bobby...
Okay, that's the joke. We'll get that.
Yeah,
that's done now.
The guy's name's Bobby Who, spelt as in the question, who.
Yeah.
And the commentators have great gives with that later.
You say the commentators. Rob Bartlett has fun with it.
You thought ours was pathetic. Like, you should have heard them lot banging on. I do realise, though, now I've made a horrible mistake. I have written him down as Bobby Watt for the rest of my notes.
You clueless buffoon.
So we start off the match. It's Scott versus Glenn in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And he just basically outstrongs him from the get-go. They do some collar and elbow tie-ups. They sort of do some headlock transitions. Just nice, really quick, snappy wrestling. They come off the ropes. Scott shoulder blocks like Glenn Ruth. And then he does a really neat full Nelson suplex, which I thought was super cool. So he hooks the arms behind the back of Glenn Ruth's head and then pops the hips. And as Scott Steiner always is with his suplexes, his sort of way of doing a wrestling move is, I'm going to pop my hips and throw.
Yeah.
You're going to leave your feet. What happens after that? I don't care.
Scott Steiner has a wrestling philosophy that is, I'm going to do this, and if you die, you die. I don't care.
It's like that bit in The Simpsons where he's like, oh, I'm going to start swinging my arms like this, and if you get hurt, it's your own fault.
See, I was just thinking of like the Rambo 4, if he dies, he dies.
You mean Rocky 4?
Rocky 4.
It is hard, isn't it? I have to apologise for my grandma.
Okay, so it's okay when I do it. When your grandma does it, you have to beat her up.
Then he tags in Rick. Rick comes in, and they sort of have a bit of a wrestle. There's some strong arm stuff, like he basically the story they're telling very much is the Steiners are like a cut above these two because they're a proper tag team, and Ruth and Bobby Watt are kind of like just sort of been thrown together. I imagine just for this week.
Yeah, that's the thing. I said this like when the match started. It said, "Oh, it's the Steiner Brothers versus these two randos who you've maybe heard of before." And I was just like, "How long is this match going to be?" It's the Steiners who are an absolute powerhouse versus two random folks they just thrown together with no backstory whatsoever.
Yeah, but I mean, I tell you what, it is a good show. They do put on a
good match though. It's not like an absolute squash.
No. There's a good bit of back and forth, kind of. There's a really nice belly to belly as well. So they're basically just showing off their sort of suplexing powers. Belly to belly tags in. Yeah, so Scott gets tagged back in, and he kind of gets him with a big drop kick. He kind of lifts Bobby Who onto his shoulders, walks him into the Steiner Brothers corner. Rick tags in on Scott's shoulder while Bobby Who is over. I was
ropes?
Confused. Over Scott's shoulder.
Scott is surprisingly at this point the one without the mustache.
Yeah, he's the handsomer one, which is strange to say.
Considering what he turns into, the genetic freak, Samoa Joe,
Invictus, Big Booty Daddy.
But I just while we've like deviated a bit, I do want to talk about the commentary. Yeah, I do want to talk about the commentary a little bit for this bit. So it is immediately apparent that Macho Man is being surprisingly quiet for this bit.
Something's gone wrong.
And Vince McMahon just...
I thought Reaper Man had ran back in, nicked his hat again. That's what I thought had happened.
He just quietly ran out. Like, there's no story or build-up. He's just actually upset with him again. But yeah, no, Macho Man's mic is broken, and that's announced by Vince McMahon. And Macho Man, I don't know what he did to try and get this in, whether like he just leaned in uncomfortably close to get like into Vince's mic or something. But he sounds like he's calling from like the bottom of a well. Like he sounds like he's been shrunk down and put in a glass by a witch.
It's like he's got 2 tin cans and a bit of string.
They just tried to work something together.
It's very gurgly. I said to you, I reckon he's called in from like a really big cellular phone, like they do sometimes, and they've piped him through the commentary desk that way.
But he's like, he's getting so upset that he's not got a mic. He's like, oh, Vince, I'm gonna get me a microphone.
It's more kind of like, isn't it? Though it's kind of like really, it's a really
very bit crush.
Yeah, and the thing that you were saying about him leaning uncomfortably close, I imagine he spits a lot when he talks. So can you imagine just this side of Vince's face being caked in the saliva of Macho Man? It tastes of Slim Jims and
cocaine.
He can't eat chips. He can't get chips open.
He can't get the chips open, Blake. He has to subsist on Slim Jims.
I see what I mean about being quite giddy.
Yeah.
So while Bobby, who is over Scott's shoulder,
got it right, yeah.
Rick tags in just like a big elbow drop, which is really, really, really fun.
Yeah.
There's a long chin lock there. They kind of slow the action down then. And in about a 3-minute match, it's kind of quite counterintuitive to do. I don't know why this happened, but it kind of just slowed down a little bit. They work their way up to a collar and elbow. Who gets in some offense? He fights back. He kind of pushes off Scott. Scott comes off the ropes and gives him a big clothesline. And then they do like their finishing move, which is really, really, really cool.
Yeah, I did also just want to point out, because obviously we made a joke earlier about Bobby Who's name. And Rob Bartlett, being the hilarious comedy boy he is, has to do a joke as well. But he just quotes the fucking Abbott and Costello. Who's on third base? Who? No, who's the guy on third base? It's who? Who is on third base? Fucking hell, Rob Bartlett.
I'm just glad that Rush Hour 2 hadn't come out at this point.
No, Rush Hour 3 had that bit, I think.
Oh, did it? Oh, sorry.
I am you, that bit.
Yeah, they all blur together in my mind. Yeah.
And also, for some reason, like Vince and Rob are just arguing about their outfits for some reason.
Yeah, I just don't like the idea of Rob Bartlett doing Chris Tucker style comedy.
Because he would black
He would.
Let's not make these allegations. No. Because I don't know. Rob Bartlett's probably a lovely guy.
He's probably
and
all
what
right.
he said in the 90s is probably not reflective of who he is now.
No, true. I mean,
God knows I said some things in the 90s that I regret, but I was 10, so...
So Scott gets him an electric chair. Rick comes on the top rope with a bulldog, and they do like their tag team finishing move. Get a really nice clean 1-2-3. Steiner Brothers win.
Yeah, and again with the Steiners, it's stiff as fuck, but it looks good.
It does look good. They are really good wrestlers, actually. I kind of, because obviously I know Scott Steiner now-ish.
Yeah, from the 2003 era.
Exactly. I always kind of looked at him as a bit of a joke, because I remember we watched a couple of pay-per-views where it was him and Triple H were having a feud. I know I'm going a bit off topic.
And he's got that fucking chainmail hat on.
Yeah, and he just kind of did the same, like we were watching one, then the next week we watched the next pay-per-view along, and it was basically like an identical match.
He came across to me as a discount Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. And so seeing him this far back when he had like ambitions and goals.
And long hair.
And he wanted to kind of actually do a good job rather than just run off the name of Scott Steiner.
Yeah.
I think, he really sort of did a good show. Him and his brother Rick. I mean, let's not sort of discount it. It is a tag team. There is 2 of them.
Do we know what happened to Rick Steiner?
No, but I'm sure we'll find out as we go along.
Yeah. Because usually we like try and do a little bit of research before these. I've completely forgotten. So this is the point where I've realised that Rick died in a horrible accident, and we have to talk about him solemnly, like we have every other wrestler that we fucking talk about on this show. Stop dying!
We've broken the curse this week, though. I reckon.
No one died this week.
No, I've not checked my Facebook for about 2 hours though, so I'll look back at like a plane crash. There's like 10 of them gone.
I mean, so far, what, like 3 wrestlers have died on the day we've tried to record?
Yeah, pretty much.
Jesus Christ, we should stop doing this. We're killing people.
It's a haunted podcast, isn't it? So moving on from the fact that this podcast might possibly be haunted, we get a WrestleMania 9 report from Mean Gene Okerlund. I was looking forward to this, actually. As soon as it started off and it had the gladiator,
like the cheap Windows Movie Maker effects they put on it.
It sounded like Macho Man trying to do like a little sing-song on commentary.
But his microphone's still broken.
It's still broken. And we get talked through 3 matches that have been pre-announced for WrestleMania 9, which takes place on Sunday, the 4th of April. So we're not too far away. We're about 2 months away. So things are going to start taking shape now. We already knew one of them, and that's Bret Hart versus Yoko Zuna. which I'm quite excited about, actually, at WrestleMania 9. That'd be your main event, I'd imagine. That's for the world belt, because Yoko Zuna won the Royal Rumble, as we know. And then we have The Undertaker, master of the streak at WrestleMania, versus Giant Gonzales. Now,
who looks ridiculous, and like he looks like he's in a fucking Attack on Titan onesie.
see, I said he looks like a guy from Altered Beast.
No, Hot Beast looks better than that.
Do you think?
Jesus Christ.
Rise from your groove.
But no, like clearly, I mean, you get like these people they bring in who are just like way taller than the average person is, and like his stage height is 8 foot. I think they said
8 foot.
Which, I mean, seeing him next to people isn't that
It is
unbelievable.
It is buyable.
But like clearly he's not quite got the body of a wrestler, so they've just sort of put him in a very like thin cotton like muscle suit,
And it's not
with
even
hair on it.
It's not. I don't think even by kayfabe standards you're supposed to believe that's his actual body. It's that obvious. Like he gets up in the morning and he puts this thing on, and they've done something to his face as well. It looks like they've kind of given him highlighter, I don't know what. I'm not very good at makeup, I'm afraid, but it looks like they have put makeup on him to try and give him more of a ghastly complexion.
Yeah,
he looks kind of greenish.
He looks gaunt.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I have a really horrible feeling the only reason this guy's got a job is because Andre the Giant died not too long ago.
And they're just like, shit, we need another tall one.
We need another giant, and they've gone, well, get Gonzales to do it. But the problem is, when you get over, I think when you get over like 6'7", you have debilitating health problems, your knees, your back, your elbows, etc. So to be 8 foot, so what are we saying, about 7.5 maybe?
Yeah,
legitimately,
definitely over 7 foot.
Yeah, so to be that tall, legitimately, he must be racked with pain all the time. Like no other,
the cartilage in his knees must be shot.
No other sport, nothing else would be good for him to do. Like, I don't understand, just because that's the thing in wrestling. If you're tall, they assume you'll be good at it and you can come in and you can do it.
Yeah.
And as we see later on from a recap and his performance later, it is only the fact that he is tall, that he's on the show. That's it. He has nothing else to offer.
Oh, okay, well, there is another sport that I did consider, that he did actually play, the Giant Gonzales. He was...
javelin?
No.
Shot put?
Basketball player.
Oh,
he was
yeah.
a basketball player in Argentina.
Oh, so he's Argentinian?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Fair play.
That's all right. Do you want to continue? That's the only fact I can think.
Did he win any? Did he do a good throw-in? Did he get a 3-pointer?
I don't know, but he did die 10 years ago.
Oh, so we're safe.
Yeah,
that's
so
fine.
we're safe from the curse from
the
this
curse
time.
has been appeased.
Okay,
so
I'm also going to quickly look up how tall he actually was.
Okay, so
Fucking no, he was exactly 8 foot.
Legitimate?
Yeah, legit.
Fuck me.
2.44 meters.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's like longer than I can jump. Like in long jump, that's longer than I can like jump. And I'm 6'2", so I'm not that small. And I can't cover 8 foot.
I can't imagine.
Jumping.
When was the last time you actually jumped? Like for fun? Not necessarily long, but sort of up as well.
Well.
Yeah.
Well.
Just do a little excited hop. When was the last time you've jumped?
Well.
Ladies and gentlemen at home, give us a little jump.
So The Undertaker's taking on Giant Gonzales. That's going to be a good match. And the last pre-arranged match we've got for WrestleMania is Crush versus Doink the Clown. What a fucking amazing WrestleMania is going to be.
And the fucking image for this, like, of just Crush next to Doink the Clown, it looks like a character select screen for Marvel vs. Capcom. Just got these two ridiculous contrasting characters next to each other.
We didn't talk about the graphic that fades us in. So when this starts off, there's like this really weird, what did you call it? Like a mosaic
effect.
sort of.
It's like it's all cracked like old paint. And it just sort of fades away.
Yeah, but it's like on top of the image, so you can't make out who it is. Might be
Except you can when it's Doink the fucking Clown. Or Yoko Zuna, because who else is it going to be?
Giant Gonzales is pretty unique looking as well, I'll give you that. That might be Brett, I'm not sure. It's a mosaic in the way. Oh, it's faded away now. It is Brett the
It's like
Hitman
you're trying
Hart.
to look through your neighbour's front door window.
Well, I've never done that, so I wouldn't know.
What?
But so yeah, I'm super psyched now for WrestleMania. We've got a man who can barely walk fighting The Undertaker. We've got an evil clown with a lead arm taking on Crush, the Hawaiian magic man, or whatever his name is. Like, he's from Hawaii, isn't he? Hawaiian Crush.
That doesn't mean he's magic.
No, I was just trying to think what he's...
I like that you assumed that the Hawaiian was the part I took umbrage with.
Oh, yeah. I was like, well, he's Hawaiian, isn't he?
He doesn't just, like, come out and starts pulling, like, ropes out of his shirt
More
or
Doink
whatever.
sort of speed, isn't it, I suppose.
Maybe that's why, like, Doink's been attacking it. Maybe he's, like, working in on his clown business.
You're nicking my bit. and Brett and Yoko. So it might be all right. Once we get through the two matches that have been pre-announced that are going to be shit, that we know are going to be shit, it might be an alright WrestleMania. But we're a long way off yet, so plans could still change.
Yeah.
And we could end up, we've got nothing on the IC belt for WrestleMania yet. So I'm assuming that's going to come in, and I'm sure there'll be like a tag team thing, potentially between IRS and Ted DiBiase and Brutus, and I don't know who he could wrangle together at short notice, Brutus. I don't know if he's got any famous friends or he's got anyone famous that he used to knock around with that he could maybe bring in.
Yeah, I mean, who do you think, like, Brutus Beefcake might have... Say, for example, they might have been lying at his bedside, waiting on him hand and foot while he was in the hospital for 2 straight years, getting his face all metalled up.
Rowdy Roddy Piper?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be fun, couldn't it? Oh, Ric Flair watch. No Ric Flair this week.
Yeah, still no Ric Flair?
No, what do you mean still? It was only last week that he-
no Ric Flair this week.
Nathan!
What? I didn't let anything loose.
So our next match is Yokozuna versus Ross Greenberg. Greenberg.
Sadly, no relation.
Sadly, no relation. Ross has got some serious HBK tights on him. Shawn Michaels style tights.
I'll be honest, I wasn't really paying attention
You look at
to
his
that.
tights. They
I
were
don't
very
look at his
vibrant.
tights.
They were very
Yokozuna was up there.
So yeah, there was a big 505-pound sumo wrestler.
Yes,
in
there we go.
Yokozuna. And we start off while they're sort of doing the intro, because obviously he gets quite a long intro. It's quite impactful. He
Yeah.
comes out, lovely like wind instruments and panpipes on his music.
I do like Yokozuna's intro music.
I kind of like Yokozuna as like a whole package, you know, like a whole act.
Yeah, it's kind of like an early Rikishi sort of thing. Like it's like a lot of his moves, especially,
Yes.
like very reminiscent of
I
that.
suppose if you're kind of a big, wide-hipped man, there's only so many wrestling moves you can do. So I guess...
I mean, Yokozuna still puts himself into it. He's
Yeah,
not. He's not
he's
like
not slow, is he? That's
No,
the thing.
no, no,
He's
no.
not lumbering like someone later on who might be, I don't know, 8
I mean,
foot.
we do see footage of Yokozuna later on that causes some hysteria, I'll call it, of his acting. But we'll get to that when it becomes related.
It is a treat.
Like, it's fucking Ric Flair levels.
We get a lovely Yokozuna-themed gooch camera. It kind of...
I made note of that as well, just for like a solid minute of just between Yokozuna's legs.
We're looking through, it's like a worm's eye view, and we're looking through Yokozuna's legs up at Ross Greenberg. And he's standing there looking all worried, as you would be.
Yeah.
The man's not lost yet, I don't think. So it's gonna be horrible. The next 5 minutes for him are gonna be horrible. We start off the match, and I didn't quite catch the first move. It looked like kind of a chop to the throat or something.
Yeah, he full on like is it armbar?
Clothesline.
The clothesline.
Darling.
Ugh, God. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm not like as much of a mark as Blake is. See, I know that word, so I've got some levels.
Some levels.
But yeah, he full on clotheslines, and it just destroys
Like
Rob
I looked down.
immediately.
I looked down to take a note, and when I looked up, Rob was on the floor like vibrating.
Yeah, I
and
think
wobbling.
I think you look down for a second. I just go, oh, as like because Rob goes at Yoko, and that's always the first fucking mistake everyone makes. They charge at him, and Yoko just like, nah, arm out, dead.
Ba-boom.
And yeah, Rob is pretty much on the floor for the rest of the match.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, no, he does get up, and then Yokozuna kind of
Puts him down again.
yeah locks him round, like waist locks him, picks him up, and then kind of slams him in a way where he falls on him, but like intentionally.
He tries to do like a leg drop sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, he kind of picks him and slams him down. Then he comes to the ropes, does a leg drop, and Ross just gets demolished.
He does. And by the way, speaking of demolished and broken, Macho Man is still not quite present. Still calling to us from the void, from the shadow realm.
Yeah, from the shadow dimension.
There's a worrying part where the crowd starts chanting USA. Now,
Yeah.
we do get a little bit of an answer for this later, but...
At the minute, there's no context.
So it just kind of feels like a room full of racists.
And I said to Nathan, I was like, this isn't a hill you want to die on, guys.
No.
It's Ross Greenberg.
Trust me, the USA doesn't get much better for you. But yeah, no, Macho's troubles do end eventually, but our troubles only just begin, as Macho literally wrestles the microphone from Rob Bartlett. Now, it's not just like, oh, my friend Rob Bartlett will sacrifice his microphone for me. No, you hear a lot of, and I'm not going to do it to you, but it's a lot of like fumbling. You can hear wires being tugged and like really uncomfortable popping sounds as he rips the headset off of Rob Bartlett. And Rob Bartlett is silent for the rest of the night, and I couldn't be fucking happier.
I was going to say, in a move that we've been waiting for 4 weeks, Macho Man snaps, and you can hear like a slight grunting as well. And like Vince sounds like he's scolding like a badly behaved dog. He's like, no,
Vin,
no,
stop.
get down, no, let go.
But also slightly encourages, like, oh, Macho's taking Rob's.
Yeah, and it's kind of like I imagine him sitting in the middle, like egging them all on. Like, oh, I hope they're gonna fight this week.
Can you imagine though, like Macho Man climbing over you to attack Rob Bartlett?
It is terrifying. But I mean, I literally would have given anything for it to cut to the commentary desk and just for this beautiful tableau to unfold of Macho Man red in the face.
I'm imagining it like a Renaissance painting.
Yeah.
Like people sort of like with their arms waving and
Like sort of smelling a Slim Jims,
Yeah.
leaning over Vince McMahon in the middle, who's like quite sort of pressed against his sweaty body, and Rob Bartlett recoiling in horror on the left-hand side, and sort of like trying to grip on, but he's too weak. He can't hold on to the headset.
No, my suit.
And he gets torn off his head.
My $50 suit,
Do you
please.
reckon Rob Bartlett sat there for the rest of the evening, or do you think he went home? He might as well have gone home at
No,
that
if
point.
he left, he wouldn't have been paid.
Okay, fair enough. So he's got to sit there in a grump.
Yeah.
Well, and I imagine Macho Man doesn't look at the wrestling for the rest of the night. He's just looking at Rob Bartlett like a
Just
dog with a
waiting.
bone.
Like it's Repo Man going to come back.
Yeah.
Him.
And he's like waiting for him to go. Like, oh, he's almost like with his eyes inviting him. Go on, try it. I'm gonna break your fucking arm.
And Rob Bartlett's just sat there in silence thinking, oh, just think of all the racist things they could be saying right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like in his best bit, there's a man of foreign descent in the ring, and he can't say anything.
But it's okay because Macho Man makes up for it later.
Do you think he's slipping him a cocktail napkin? Say this, like with loads of racial slurs on.
Oh, that's Razor Ramon. I've got some things about the Latinas you can make fun of.
So we get an Irish whip in the corner from Yoko Zuna, and then he follows him in with like a really, really, really big thunderous splash. Ross just sort of melts out of the corner. Like he sells it really well. He kind of like sort of slowly falls to the floor, gets onto his back, and Yoko Zuna climbs up to the second turnbuckle and does the bonsai drop. I don't know if that's what he calls it, but that's what it's called when Rikishi does it.
Yeah.
So that's just what I'm kind of naming it at the moment. It's where he did it before with somebody else, where he just sort of lets go of the ring ropes and basically just sits his bottom down on your chest. So that's the end of the match. That's a 3 count. It was nice and quick. It was snappy. No one really got going. I'm noticing a theme with Yokozuna that he never seems to wrestle for long, but I'm assuming it's because they're putting over the fact that he's a powerhouse. Although what am I saying? Because
it works.
What am I saying? Because the next bit, like the match in the next bit looked like it went on a little while. We get a special report from some British guy who looked like
some guy they've just taken from like the Open Championships, the golf tournaments or whatever, because he's just like a lovely, soft-speaking British man. Like he could be like talking
proper
over,
British as well.
like he could be talking over like a nature documentary or something.
It looks like, though, the only thing is quite unfortunate looking. It looks like you've stuck like plasticine to like Skeletor from He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
It does kind of like a melted Halloween mask.
He looks like a haunted like waxwork. And we get a recap of a match that took place between Yokozuna and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I'm kind of gutted we missed this because this looked like loads of.
It does look like it was a good match.
Yeah.
When did they say this was?
It was on Superstars, so it would have been the Saturday before, so 2 days before.
Oh, okay, Superstar or pay-per-view then?
No, Superstars is a show that happens on Saturday morning, and then Raw is a show that happens on Monday evening.
Oh, okay, so I'm not aware of Superstars.
I don't think it's on the network, so I don't think we can get hold of it.
Oh, that's strange, but okay.
So this British guy, just before we get to the Hacksaw Jim Duggan one, he's flogging posters.
He's flogging magazines, yeah.
Oh, magazines full of posters. I thought it was posters. Is it not?
Oh, I thought it was magazine because it looked like it had like leaves that you turn over and there's information about these people. But...
Oh, what like a fact file sort of thing?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought it was posters.
I mean, it's a magazine in the 90s. I'm sure it has posters in it.
Yeah, like I had like sort of glossy photographs of like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels.
Michaels.
So yeah, that was kind of strange. And then we see a recap of Hacksaw versus Yokozuna.
Yeah.
The reason we're getting this is because Jim that's Hacksaw is the first guy to ever knock Yokozuna off his feet in singles combat.
Which makes it sound so fancy.
Yeah, right? And it looks like kind of like a flag match almost. It starts off with lots of posturing and pontificating, where Hacksaw's swinging the American flag.
Yeah.
And everyone's going, USA, USA.
So this is where this began, obviously.
This is giving us a context of what happened earlier. And Yokozuna has the Japanese flag, and he's waving it. But no one's going, Japan, Japan, Japan.
It doesn't have like the right beat to like chant though. Unless you go like Japan, Japan,
yeah,
Japan.
that might work. So they're having a match. We get like basically potted highlights of this match. You get to see like his attempts to knock over Yokozuna, and then the eventual time he does, and it's quite comical.
It's hilarious.
Like he falls like a building in a Godzilla movie. It's great.
Oh, that was the thing as well. Rob Bartlett, before he got his mic taken away, called Yokozuna Godzilla.
I like to think that's the reason why.
Yeah.
Like, Macho Man's then he's like, no, you don't. He's like leaning over the desk at him.
But no, like, yeah, like he's just like,
I love Godzilla.
Yokozuna's skipping
It's my
backwards
favourite
and
Matthew
flailing
Broderick
his
movie.
arms. Like he's in a cartoon.
Yeah, he really oversells the fact.
Whoa!
Yeah. Like, I mean, if he could have span around 3 times and then fell over and held up a little sign saying "ouch," that would have been great.
Like I say, it felt very Ric Flair. Like he flops over. And
Should we start calling out the Yokozuna flop? Because obviously Flair's got his Flair flop.
Yeah. Well, we'll call it the Yoko flop.
The Yoko flop.
The Yoko Ono.
Yeah, the Yoko. Oh no, he's fallen over. Very giddy.
I'm drinking lemonade like a schoolboy.
And so you get some potted highlights. Yokozuna eventually wins. He works over Hacksaw Jim Duggan and he gives him a couple of bonsai drops. One of which is underneath the American flag, like he's a dead veteran.
I think you're forgetting an important part here, is that he's a dirty cheater, isn't he?
Oh, yes.
Because he grabs his pot of salt and flings it into the eyes of Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and he falls screaming to the ground like he's a demon in Supernatural or something.
I did expect like lots of black darkness just to come spilling out of his body.
A fiery pentagram to emerge in the ring or something.
And he just melts.
Yeah. Oh my God! He sent him back to hell!
Oh, Jim Ross commentating Supernatural would be amazing. Back out! It's the devil!
Yeah, and like you say, he covers Hacksaw Jim Duggan
like he's a
with
dead,
the American flag, like he's dead.
Like he's a dead police officer or veteran or something.
And sits not only on his face, but even worse, on the American flag, which you can't do.
No.
Obviously, there aren't people out there wearing American flag underwear or anything like that. It's the most insulting thing you can do is to put your ass on the American flag.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Do you think there's an American flag toilet seat out there?
Almost
there
definitely.
Has to be.
Almost definitely.
If you have an American flag toilet seat, write into us on a postcard.
Nathan, it'll be in America. They don't know how postcards work.
What? I've bought one from Florida. I know they exist.
Oh, fair enough. You come to the USA, the land of not having postcards. So yeah,
if you have postcards in America, write into us on a postcard.
So he squashes him underneath the American flag, and I'm presuming that's put there so that Jim can sort of put a blood capsule in his mouth, because when he kind of is getting stretchered out, it's like a proper serious stretcher job. They're making out that Yokozuna has legitimately
crushed
killed
his
him.
brains.
Yeah. He's got like blood coming out of his mouth. I don't know if you spotted that. The angle was kind of bad on the camera.
No, I didn't actually see that.
Oh, okay. So around the corner of his mouth, he's got blood coming out of his mouth. Like he's got internal injuries almost from having 505-pound Yokozuna sit on him underneath the American flag. And the American flag as well, like I imagine that would make it heavier because of all the blood of the patriots that have died for the American flag, like welded into it. So Mr. Fuji cuts a promo backstage. And this is our favourite thing.
I love promos with Mr. Fuji. Is it Mr. Fuji?
Mr. Fuji,
Mr. Fuji and Yokozuna, because Mr. Fuji is always a background character in these. He's hiding behind Yokozuna's shoulder while Yokozuna just stares daggers into the camera. And the camera slowly pans and zooms in only on Yoko's face. So you just hear Mr. Fuji ranting in the background, but you can't see him. He's a spectre in the darkness.
Like it kind of it kind of shrinks in, doesn't it? And it gets closer and closer and closer to Yokozuna, and then like it's in the crook of Yokozuna's arm. You can see Mr. Fuji peeking through cheekily.
I would love it as well if, like, as it gradually zoomed in on Yokozuna, if his volume slowly went down as well.
I thought you were going to say like it goes to a circle. It's like that's all, folks. Like the Looney Tunes. Yeah. Steam train Yokozuna. I'm sure I mentioned this before because he just starts going doesn't he? Like a steam train.
I think he's shouting Yosh, isn't he?
Yeah. I think maybe then. I don't know why I just sort of.
Which I'm not going to pretend I know what that means.
No, me neither. I don't know if it's like just a vocalization or just. I don't know if it does stand for, like, mean something, or I'm not quite sure. Because obviously we
say a lot of bollocks that means nothing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was getting at. Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that's when I was stumbling over my words, proving the point. We say loads of bollocks that means nothing. We get a recap of your man from Rampage, Giant Gonzales.
Oh yeah, that happened as well. I didn't make a note of that.
As he slowly and carefully destroys people.
Yeah, like for someone who's supposed to be like this giant,
Killing
unforgiving
machine.
monster,
Yeah.
like he does seem a bit gentle, doesn't he?
He seems very sort of
Careful.
tentative, to
Yeah.
get involved. Like, you do your wrestling, that's fine. I'll sort of maybe lean in every once in a while,
Yeah.
do this, do that.
I'm
but
gonna
want-
like put my hand on your head. If you act like I'm grabbing your hair,
if you
that's
can,
fine.
If you can climb in, that'll be lovely.
Yeah.
Because if I bend anymore, my spine will pop out and my hip will snap again. So he lifts a guy into the ring. I didn't catch who it was. It's not important.
No,
he
like,
holds him in a
Part of
chokeslam
the Three
position.
Stooges, because there's three of them.
Yeah.
And, like, they're all cowards.
He holds him in a chokeslam position for like ages, and it's so ponderous. And they kind of do a little dozy-do. They kind of do a little bit of wandering around. And the commentary team, which I believe Jerry Lawler's on there.
It sounded like Jerry Lawler.
I think this is another recap from Superstars. So we're seeing more of Superstars than fucking Monday Night Raw at this moment in time. He's putting over, this is the man that's going to beat The Undertaker. This is the man that The Undertaker's afraid of. And Macho Man's like, The Undertaker's not afraid of him. It's going to be fine. Don't worry, everyone at home. This bad man who's bad at wrestling, wearing a bad costume, isn't going to beat our beloved dead man at WrestleMania.
It's a sad state of affairs when this is the best clip they've got on him to like, put him over.
Well, I mean, we see him later, and I don't think there's any more he can add to his highlights later, is there? Let's be honest. I don't know what the problem is with him, other than the fact he is just too tall. That's the only thing I can think of.
Not to body shame or anything, but like you said earlier, there tends to be like some like physical issues and disabilities that come with.
Oh yeah, like the look's ridiculous, but not because he's tall, because of the shitty suit they've got him in.
Yeah.
What I mean is, he's got a body, that's fine. It's just bad at wrestling.
Yeah. Which again, probably not his fault, but
No, I reckon it is, like I say, just legitimately because obviously when you go over a certain, I know for a fact Andre the Giant had very bad knees, ankles, all of his joints were knackered because of how tall he was. So I think that's probably what the issue is. So I'm going to try not to harp on about him too much.
No.
It's not his fault. But then I'm sort of like, well, go do something else.
But at the same time, we can remark he's not a great wrestler.
No, not at all. We move on from that rather sad state of affairs to the usual plethora of ads. We've got Ico, the toys, the Slim Jims. We're just getting battered for 5 minutes with the ads. Normally they kind of spread around, and when we see them, we're like, yay! This time around, I was like, okay.
Yes, usual.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Come on.
It's always happy seeing like Macho Man struggling to open a bag of chips, but we didn't. We'll tell you what we didn't get. We didn't get the one with like the da 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 da.
Oh yeah,
the morning,
for the morning show.
Yeah,
which
they
I
didn't get the
believe
morning show,
which I believe is Superstars, and that's the advert for Superstars.
Oh, that is Superstars. Okay.
Yeah.
They've banged on enough about Superstars, is what.
Yeah,
I
do you think that might be what
Probably.
it is? Yeah, we've seen 2 clips of it. We don't need to put an ad in as well. They're gonna watch it.
If they don't buy it from that, then what are we trying
Exactly.
to do?
We're gonna have no hope. I want an advert where Macho Man Randy Savage, we Photoshop Rob Bartlett's head on the bag of chips in the bag of chips ad.
And dub him over saying microphone.
That'd be good. I look forward to that. I've kind of been stalling a little bit because I don't really know how to approach this.
Okay,
next bit.
let's breeze through this because I don't think there's any way we can do this. But there's a 16-man battle royale coming up, and shall we just call it very chaotic?
Yeah, so I'll do my best to run through just to give it a bit of context and give some general thoughts and things like that. So we've got a 16-man battle royal.
Yeah.
The participants are Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, Kamala, Iron Mike Sharp. Most of these don't matter, but I will run them through just for clarity.
And also, some of them I'm not entirely certain were actually in there because I was trying to count out the ones who we saw fall out. But like Iron Mike Sharp, I never saw him go.
Do a Macho Man count the legs and halve it? That's what he does. Sounds like a joke, but legit, but he does at one point.
Yeah,
it's like
start, says, I've been counting the legs.
32 legs.
Okay.
That means 16 men, Mr. McMahon.
Well, did I do good, boss? Sure.
Bob Backlund, Kimchi, the Berserker, not a clue.
No.
Tatanka, our boy.
Love Tatanka.
So we're not going to see him in singles, which is a bit of a shame. Owen Hart, again, really good. Shame he's in. It's a good match, but it's a bit of a clusterfuck, but we'll get into it in more detail in a second. Damien Demento, El Matador, Terry Taylor, Coco Beware, Typhoon, and Skinner. And someone comes out later on, which I'll save until my thoughts later on.
I mean, they are like listed as on the roster. Like, is it worth mentioning them, or is it just? Shall we just go on without them?
We'll just go on with that, and then we'll mention them.
Okay.
So it starts off 16 men, and it's just bloody chaos.
It is.
The camera can't keep up. So
Well,
how
they keep
are we?
on the wide shot for a while, just on the stage side, and yeah, you can't really see what's going on.
I mean, other than the idea of you're flipping through channels on a Monday night and you see 16 guys in a wrestling ring and it's just chaos.
Yeah.
The announcers are talking over each other, much like we do. And
Well, yeah, I wanted to say that the commentary for this is like Vince McMahon does a bang up job of trying to keep up with it. Like he's in there, he's sharp, he's calling out everybody, he's calling out every move. Macho Man is surprisingly off form for this. I think it's just too much for him, but he's just in there saying shit like, not everybody is friends with anybody. The fuck's that supposed to mean, Macho?
I think when you're a wrestler and you see a battle royal, you kind of just have flashbacks of you being in a battle royal, I reckon.
Yeah.
Because I imagine, I said to you, when you're watching it, it's probably why I didn't take any notes, try and find the people that you're not supposed to be looking at. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, no, I kept a keen eye on Damien Demento more than anyone, because he regularly just sort of walked around the edge screaming, which I thought was fun.
He did that with The Undertaker.
He did. That's just his bit, I guess.
No, but what I mean is, so obviously it cuts to people doing spots, like skinning the cat, nearly going out, coming back in.
Yeah.
Big sort of relationships breaking down or developing as we get later on. But there's always a couple of guys that are never quite, because there's a lot going on, that are never quite sure what they're supposed to be doing. And it's lovely because they'll do one or two punches and the facade will just drop. They'll just stop doing what they're doing and wander off somewhere else.
Sorry, did we get through the list?
Yeah,
we did. Okay, no, I was just going to say that I feel like Kim Chi was the culprit of that. I feel like he didn't really do a whole lot. He was basically told, right, go in there. Your target is Kamala. Just go after him when you can. Rest for the rest of it.
Yeah, because obviously Kim Chi and Kamala are on the outs now that Kamala is in with Reverend Slick.
Yes.
As we know. So Kim Chi, his former handler, I hate using the word, but it's their word.
Yeah.
Is now trying to get rid of, basically beat him in this wrestling match.
Yeah, just because, I guess.
Yeah, just basically say ha ha.
Ha ha,
Screw
you're
you.
no longer my possession, therefore I can beat you.
Yeah.
Even though I was beating you anyway when I was handling you, so
Yeah.
whatever. Maybe
more-
he's just racist.
The more things change, the more
Really,
they stay
a character
the same.
called Kim Chi is racist. Who would have thought it?
So it's very hard to keep up with what's going on. And I could say, I think the worst crime that this commits is it takes away us seeing Owen Hart in a singles match,
Yeah.
the Matador in a singles match, Tatanka in a singles match, Shawn Michaels in a singles match. But it's a
Yeah.
good way of getting loads of guys on the show in one match. It's 15 minutes long.
But that's the thing. When you have a match like this, it doesn't really showcase any particular one of their
you
strengths.
can't
It's
stand
just
out.
madness.
Until you get to the final three or four.
That's
then
where
you
it starts
can.
to shine.
So we get a few eliminations here and there. There's a few spots here and there. Like I say, it's very hard to tell what's going on. Typhoon is a constant irritant in this match.
He is.
He's just he's a knob. And then it goes to a break. It comes back, and we've lost 3 people. They've gone in the ad break. Like Terry Taylor, I didn't see him go out.
No, Terry
What was the one
Taylor.
you noticed?
I didn't see. I didn't notice Bob Backlund. I didn't see. Terry Taylor as well.
So
Mike Sharp was the other one who I didn't see.
See, I reckon you're in this sort of conspiracy theory that they're lying to you. No, he is in there, and you're going, no, he's not.
That's the thing, because I counted at the beginning. It's like, okay, yeah, there's 60. I've counted 32 legs, Blake. I know there's 16 people in there because I took 32 and I halved it. And then it comes back from the break, and because I've been trying to write down the order they went out.
At this point, were you still counting legs? Probably why you got a bit lost, because now the legs are in motion, so it's a bit harder now to count the legs.
Well, they came back from the break and there's 7 or so people left. I was like, no, that's not right. You didn't even say, this person went out while we were on the ad break.
Which would have helped.
Maybe, because I'm imagining the camera's cut and Bob Backlund just right lads, I'm off.
Yeah, just, right, see you later, just hooves himself over the top rope. There's a really fun bit where Kim Chi eliminates Kamala. Kamala eliminates Kim Chi in return. Doesn't work. Technically, the end of the match shouldn't be the end of the match, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
And then they fight through the crowd into the catering area almost, back out another door.
Yeah, they basically walk out a fire exit.
Yeah, they go up into the rafters and they go through not the rafters, not like the Phantom of the Opera, but they go into the top bit of
They
the...
cut down the chandelier and kill everyone.
They go up into the top row of seats and they're fighting all the way along there as well. So they basically just appear into the background.
And it's absolute madness.
It's pandemonium, I think is the best word.
I think you've said this to me before, but when they do this sort of spot, they usually have disguised guards in the crowd to try and make sure people aren't fighting back.
Jostled.
Yeah, but it looks like they're just beating up the audience for half of it.
Well, Kim Chi's getting great heel heat by pushing a dad.
Yeah, he's just ramming people into walls.
Whose son is sat very unsafely, precariously on his shoulders. I know. Don't think I know. I didn't notice that when it came back from the ad break. I did. A kid looking worried, clinging on to his dad. We get eventually down to the final four, which is where it actually starts getting, I'd say, relatively good.
Yeah, because you start seeing some good talent.
Well, you can actually do some wrestling now. You've got room to manoeuvre. So you've got Shawn Michaels, El Matador, Tatanka, and Razor Ramon, Chico.
And, I don't think we've seen a great deal of Razor Ramon so far, but the other three I know we've seen before, and I think they're damn good wrestlers.
Well, his big kind of crowning moment was in the match with Brett at the Royal Rumble that we briefly recapped, but we didn't actually go to the trouble of watching it because we only just started the show. So with Razor Ramon, we saw a couple of promos of his when he was feuding with Brett. It was the first time I think we've actually seen him legitimately wrestle, I think.
Probably.
So Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon team up. I'm going to call them Team Baddie. And then Matador and Tatanka team up. I'm going to call them Team Minority. Because one's a Native American, one's a Spanish man. But my favourite team is Team Minority. I want them to win.
I love them, yeah.
So you get some spots back and forth, some wrestling, some clubbing blows. They work together to bounce Shawn Michaels off the rope, Tatanka and El Matador. And it's like he's bumping for Hulk Hogan when Hulk Hogan thinks it's best to do just a one rather than a series of 3 matches. If anyone gets that reference, you'll be killing yourself at home. He springboards off the ropes, like, to a ridiculous degree.
I was going to say, like, Shawn Michaels puts on a damn good show.
And then he
like,
pops up, doesn't he? And he spins around just like a little, like, sort of loosey-goosey footing thing and then falls to his knees again.
It's stupid, but it's wildly entertaining to see
really
Shawn Michaels
fun,
in this era.
pinging around. And I think in this instance, it is a sign of respect. Like, I'm going to try and make your shit look good, brother.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he kind of comes off the ropes, the top turnbuckle a couple of times. And then you're going to have to help me out on the order that they get eliminated. Shawn Michaels goes when he gets joint eliminated by Tatanka and El Matador. They lay him across the top turnbuckle, and then they give him like a double lifting kick, and then off Shawn Michaels goes.
Yes, and now things get a bit fucky.
Yeah, so Razor Ramon is bearing down the back of Tatanka and El Matador. It's like a 3-way dance now. And then out of nowhere, from the background, swinging his big tree trunk arms with his eyeshadow and his foundation.
And his fake teeth, probably. We're not sure.
I couldn't quite make them out.
He looks like he's got plastic vampire teeth.
Yeah, he looks very Jesus. He starts coming down to the ring. It's our boy, Giant Gonzales.
And now, obviously, like, I guess, because I think Kim Chi did the same thing at the beginning of the match, where if you don't go in, that's fine.
No,
you can stay outside as long as you like.
Kim Chi went, rather than going over the top rope to be eliminated.
Yeah, but it's like the Royal Rumble, where you don't have to jump into the ring immediately. You can stand on the outside, save your energy and whatever.
But the Kim Chi thing was he went underneath the rope and then came back in.
He did that a lot as well.
So that's what Ramon does now that the Bruiner arrives.
Yeah, now the Giant comes in, Razor Ramon sort of ducks under the ropes and hides for a second.
Technically still in the match.
Yeah, he's still legal. The Giant comes in and just within a few seconds lobs Tatanka and El Matador out of the ring. And then, thinking he's won, Giant just goes, puts his arms up, climbs out of the ring, over the top rope, walks out into the dressing room. Razor Ramon jumps back in the ring, goes, "Yay, I win!"
Yeah, by default.
Yeah, because he's the only one who hasn't gone over the ropes.
Now, I genuinely thought what was going to happen is Giant Gonzales steps over the ropes, and I was waiting for it with bated breath. He steps onto the ground. That's when the bell rings.
Yeah,
and
Razor Ramon jumps, "Yay!"
Oh, and he's like, "Oh, what have I done?" And Ramon's like, "Ha, you big stupid idiot. You idiot. What are you doing? I'm still in the match, Chico."
At least you're not doing the voice. It's okay.
Grande Chico. Means big, doesn't it, I think? I don't know.
Probably.
But I don't know. So he just ruins the match for me.
Yeah, no, because when it got down to the last four of Shawn Michaels, Tatanka, El Matador, and Razor Ramon, so great. This is going to be a good matchup. We've seen 4 people so far. We got these 4 people in, and they are damn good wrestlers in my opinion.
I was genuinely excited. I was excited.
Especially, because Tatanka is a great wrestler. I know we haven't seen much of him yet. Wink.
You bastard. Yeah.
But he is a really good wrestler.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, have you?
Yeah. I reckon probably in about 7 days or so he's
going to see a damn good match.
Yeah, I reckon he might have a really good match, you know.
We'll get into this at the end of the episode. Yeah. But yeah, no, then, like, just when you get... Because I was hoping it would be... You know, because you have Razor Ramon, Tatanka, and El Matador at the end. I was hoping it would be Tatanka and Matador, get rid of Razor Ramon, and those two have a very gentlemanly combat. It's like, okay, we've teamed up, now let's have a damn good match between us two and see who wins. Yeah. Because they come across as, like, good guys.
Yeah, they look like they're sportsmen as well. They fight fair.
Yeah, they have good communication with each other as well. But no, like, that dream just gets shattered by the lanky boy coming in.
As soon as you see Lurch in a bad Halloween costume coming down the ramp, you just know what's going to happen,
But at the same time, we figured this was going to happen because, like, he was announced to be in it from the very beginning, and he wasn't anywhere in the ring. You'd be able to tell. Macho Man would have counted his legs. He counted them wrong then. He said there were 32 legs in there. There couldn't have been if Giant Gonzales wasn't in the fucking ring.
Well, I think the thing is, originally...
Was he going around the dressing room, like, going, ooh, like crawling around on all fours?
You can't see this, but Nathan did an amazing impression of Macho Man sort of kind of crouched down a little bit, wiggling his fingers, counting legs in the dressing room. I never thought I'd say that, ever. I never thought that's an impression I'd ever see. Or one that I'd want to see all the time.
I don't have a lot of talents, but what I do are very niche.
No, I think the story is, obviously, they were going to have this match, and Gonzales was supposed to be in it. Everyone protested to take Gonzales out of it, so then he came in at the end just to basically ruin the match. I think that's the story.
Because I think they were explaining it beforehand because they had a camera on the announcement table, but we were too distracted by the man in the glorious like windbreaker suit.
Yeah,
that were just all purples and blues and oranges.
Yeah, like sort of the finest polyester that money can buy.
Yeah, like can you imagine the static coming off of that guy?
Jeez, he's probably powering the arena.
Maybe that's what broke the microphone.
Oh, wait,
he's got an EMP field around him.
He just touched Macho Man, and his hair went all frizzy and big and just stood up, like when you get on a balloon. So you just know for a fact that when Gonzales comes out, it's going to ruin the match.
But yeah, what a fucking ending that
was.
was.
Like I say, I hate the fact Ramon won by default.
Yeah,
that's
because
basically what it is.
He's supposed to be put over as like this guy who's a big threat to Bret Hart.
He's supposed to be like a strong heel, so to speak. But he needs. To be fair, when he eliminated Tatanka and the Matador, I really wanted to see him try and wrestle Razor Ramon, and Razor Ramon somehow have to knock him out of the ring. I thought that's the only way they can save it now, is if he falls and breaks one of his legs, they have to put him down like a horse.
Oh, bless him.
That's mean, isn't it? That's too mean. So I was a bit disappointed in that, but there we are.
But yeah, I think we've gone on for long enough about the Battle Royale now.
Considering we were worried that we weren't going to have enough material. So we go now on to our last match of the evening, the one we've all been waiting for, our main event. It is Brutus, the Barber Beefcake, and he's taking on Ted. Surname is negotiable how we're pronouncing it, but the $1 Million Man.
Dibiase?
DiBiase. If we just say all the permutations, then we can just...
The $1 Million Man.
then we can just sort of edit in the right permutation.
No.
No?
That's too much work.
Ted's got a big, strong look on him. He's got a good, strong look.
He's... I was going to say hench, but I don't know, it feels too modern vernacular for this.
He's accompanied to the ring by Jimmy Hart, his manager.
The mouth of the South.
Yeah, indeed. Brutus comes out snipping his scissors.
Too close to the audience, and Brutus. I'm worried, fucking hell.
Yeah, like amputations are going to happen. They get in the ring. I don't know if you noticed this little bit. The referee goes over to Brutus to see if he's ready to start the match, and Brutus sort of jabs his scissors towards him.
Yeah, he's like threatens the ref. It's like, fucking hell, Brutus, you're supposed to be the good guy in this match.
Like, how many refs has he shanked in his time? Do you think when he was coming towards him, he's got a flashback of knees?
Yeah,
and he was
get
like,
them legs away from me.
No!
I'll take them off you.
He was hearing all the 32 legs divided by 2, 16 people chat backstage, and he's like, no, not legs. Okay, so now I don't know how you feel about it. So I'm going to run through the match, and then we'll talk about it in a sec. So they circle each other like sharks.
Yeah, Brutus does some cocky strutting.
Yeah, there's some strutting, some pontificating, some stalling. Brutus gets the crowd fired up, clapping, before we even do our first move, which is a standard collar and elbow.
Macho Man is loving it. He says that Brutus is part of the ultimate tag team between Brutus, Hulk Hogan, and him upstairs.
That's a cracking tag team, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
King of trios. God.
That's the sort of thing, though, where it would be like Brutus and Hulk Hogan would turn up for like a 3-on-3 kind of match against, I don't know, the fucking New Day or whatever. They were like, oh no, how are we going to win this? It's only 2 against 3. And then God comes in at the end with a steel chair and wins it.
Sorry, are you not aware of the time that Shawn Michaels legitimately tag teamed with God?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Do you not know about this?
No.
Okay, sidebar. There was one time, I swear to God this happened, they had like a 2-on-1 handicap match. Shawn Michaels versus 2 other people, 2 heels, whatever. And they were like, oh, we can give you a partner. You can have your precious God. So what No, seriously, stick with me.
No, okay, I know that Shawn Michaels
Came
turned
back
to
as-
Jesus
yeah.
after the overcoming his addictions, which good for him.
Fair play. So what they did was in the corner they had a spotlight, and that was supposed to signify God. I can't remember if they gave him an entrance or not. I can't remember, or if it was just like that light from Mr. Bean. It's like, yeah, and then that's God. And I remember watching this as a kid or as a slightly younger person, thinking, I can't wait till he tags God in.
Did Shawn Michaels hot tag?
Tagging the Lord above. Who came in sort of laying down smitings.
I need to watch this.
I'll see if I can find it for you after this.
Oh,
God.
God.
But then that is a cracking tag team minute. Hulk Hogan. Brutus.
It's a shame that God would heel turn against Hulk Hogan and turn to Shawn Michaels later on in his career, though.
I mean, he's got a good strong stable.
Oh, I can't get over that. That's fucking hilarious.
So Ted DiBiase works him over. They're kind of really staying away from the face. They're teasing this the sort of the face of Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Ted does a lot of body shots.
A lot of body shots, lots of knees to the kidneys and stuff, kind of taking him off the ropes. Like nice, gentle kind of knees in here, like short arm clotheslines, things like that. Brutus fights back with big strikes. Like he's like, okay, you can't hit me in the face, but by God, him upstairs, who tag teams with Hulk Hogan. That wasn't even on purpose. He starts laying into him thick. DiBiase goes over the top rope, gets up, has a little sort of conversation with Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart saying, take him seriously. Don't sleep on him.
He's a big bastard.
He's a big guy. Even though he's been out 2-3 years, whatever, he is a good guy. He's a good wrestling man. And you'd be paid well to watch him, by the way, if you wouldn't mind. Now get in there and do a wrestle. So he gets back in. And there's more circling, stalling, really slow, eked out pace. There's a standing headlock. It's how slow we're moving. There's a standing headlock. Ted DiBiase bounces him off the ropes. There's a few shots back and forth. Same thing again. Brutus Barber Beefcake starts laying in shots, throws him over the top rope.
I gotta say, my man Brutus is killing it for a guy who's been out of the business for 2 years. He's doing a great job of it.
He can do punches and throwing a man over the top rope very well.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying he's the most impressive wrestler I've ever seen, but
on a show with Giant Gonzales, he's definitely not the worst.
he's. But what I'm saying is he's flinging around the $1 Million Man like he's a Tuesday paper.
Yeah, and obviously $1 Million Man's doing a good job of like selling it and showing his frustration and kind of getting like in Jimmy's face as well, kind of like, oh, what do you want me to do, sort of thing. DiBiase works him over, and they're teasing the face sort of being smashed off the top turnbuckle.
Yeah.
That's what they're working up towards. But then out of nowhere, I thought it was going to be fucking Giant Gonzales again. It cuts to the crowd, and IRS arrives.
Erwin R. Shyster. With his metal briefcase full of Vince McMahon's tax returns. It's empty, that's the joke.
I don't know, because he's carrying like it is heavy. He's hit someone with it later, and it looks heavy.
It's full of lead.
It's
got Doink's arm in it.
It's all the blood diamonds from Saudi Arabia. Brutus the Barber Beefcake has him in the headlock. He kind of works him down to the mat. They work their way back up. They're coming off the ropes. As the Barber's coming off the ropes closest to IRS, IRS clobbers him in the back with the briefcase.
The beefcakes.
The beefcakes. I'm getting confused. There's a briefcase. There's a guy called Brutus the Barber Beefcake. It's difficult, Nathan. I'm doing my best. All right. Brutus the briefcase. No, that's not right. Brutus the Barber Beefcake wins by disqualification. But he's basically down and out now. So Ted DiBiase and the IRS work over. That's a funny sentence to say, isn't it? And the IRS work over the beefcake.
Especially when you add that onto the end.
Yeah, work over a beefcake. Jimmy, I tell you, okay, so this is obviously kind of moving towards a story, like a swerve in the story here. So the baddies are working over Brutus. They're kind of stomping, punching. Nothing too crazy's happened yet. They've not gone too far just yet.
No.
It's your normal post-match beatdown for a pair of dastardly heels onto a good guy who needs some support for next week.
They've been disqualified. What do they care what they get charged with now?
So, I mean, so obviously it's leading up to Beefcake calling in a friend of his, hopefully the Holy Spirit next week. That's it, because you go with 6-man, Hulk Hogan, Brutus Barber Beefcake. I 35. Jesus God, and then the Holy Spirit. Yeah.
Maybe they could get the devil on the Money Inc. side.
Yeah, yes. I like it. So Jimmy tries to get them to stop. So this is like a nice sort of turning moment for Jimmy Hart as a character. Now, I never got the sense, even last week, when they were doing the promo leading up to this match, that Jimmy legitimately wanted to see Brutus hurt.
Well, no, because in the like the previous week, he was still kind of like, oh, well,
Guys, it's a wrestling match. Like leave it out. Let's just have a match. Be good guys. Let's just not take it too far. And obviously, the guys, the Money Incorporated, now taking it too far. It's quite an unpleasant scene, to be honest. So
it really is. It builds up for a while.
yeah,
it's dramatic.
It's very harrowing. So Ted DiBiase's got Brutus's arms behind his back,
Yeah.
and the IRS has got the briefcase, and he's kind of sizing up, doing like a big running strike with the briefcase. Now, I was thinking, okay, how can we get around this? Maybe he ducks and hits Ted. That would be cool. That would be fine. Maybe Jimmy jumps in the way, drop toe hold or something. I don't know. But Jimmy's kind of getting in the way, and he's pushing back the IRS, and he's showing quite a lot of bravery and courage because, as we said last week, Erwin R. Shyster, is that his name, is a big guy. Like, he's pretty.
Yeah, he looks
looking.
good in that shirt.
Yeah. So he keeps pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back and trying to defuse the situation. Fair play to him. It's start of his face turn, I imagine. And eventually IRS shoves him out of the ring and then, runs towards him and hits him in the head with a briefcase. Yeah,
and it's like, it's portrayed as like a calamity. And it does clatter him pretty, like the sound is pretty nasty.
I'd say it's a very good spot. It looks good. The camera they cut to makes it look
like the kayfabe work as well. Like
there's really good selling on the part of Brutus. He's on the floor. His hands are sort of clutched over. He's like sort of digging into his face almost. And they keep saying on commentary he's trying to hold his face together.
Which I don't think that's quite how it works.
No, but I like the fact we're getting emotive now. Like I'm starting to feel something again, Nathan, other than laughter. The commentary's selling it really well. They're sort of saying that's it. He's done. That's the end of his career. He cannot do any more wrestling because he's been hit with a briefcase.
But it's not over yet because, like, obviously the Money Inc. are still in the ring. They're like, right, well, he's on the ground, he's hurt, let's get him another time. And Jimmy
do what? Like, kill him?
Yeah, I guess so.
Legitimately at this point, is that what they're attempting murder?
Probably. But then Jimmy runs back in, he's like, no, you guys piss off, I'm done with you now. And then, like, Ted DiBiase and IRS, like, climb out, and Ted DiBiase just says to the camera, welcome back, Brutus, or something along those lines.
Yeah, he does a big hearty laugh as well.
Oh, yeah, the laugh that comes out of him, he sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon villain. It's brilliant.
It's great. He's sort of, like you say, it is very much a Saturday morning cartoon villain thing to do, because he stands on the apron, and he doesn't just laugh, he tips his head back. And then, like a proper laugh.
Like you can imagine lightning behind him.
Yeah, and that guy looks like Skeletor from earlier coming around the corner. So Jimmy stops Ted DiBiase from doing it again.
Yeah.
And it's pleasantly unpleasant, if you get what I mean. It's hard to watch, but it's good. It's good for story. It's a good story.
Yeah.
It's emotive. So they leave. You get a slow-mo recap of the spot. Looks good. It's a good, strong spot. You get a crowd shot of everyone sort of looking distraught and, sort of... Then you get a sort of play of it in real time.
Yeah.
And then we get to the end of the show. So we get a recap of what's coming up next week.
Well, yeah, I mean, I will say that Brutus is carried away on a stretcher.
Oh, yes, of course, yes, sorry, yes.
Leading to a funny bit where Jimmy says, oh, watch his face, as if they're, like, going to pick him up by the nostrils.
Just sort of grab him by the ears and pull, get him out of the ring.
Some medics they are.
Yeah, like that bit in The Thing where his head falls off. That bit in The Thing. So we get a recap. Yeah, so they're really selling it as like this is like a disastrous thing that could have happened. And they keep saying, oh, maybe next week he'll have some help. So we keep
really? I wonder who that would be, Blake.
I honestly don't know. I mean, like I say, he's best mates with Hulk Hogan, as I was saying in the promo from the week before.
Yeah.
That went on for too long, where he got like his entire fucking life story. So maybe we'll see Hulk Hogan.
Maybe. Do you think we'll see Hulk Hogan for too long in next week's episode, Blake? Do you think he won't shut up? Do you think there's hardly any wrestling in next week's episode, Blake?
Do you think maybe that's why we get the ending we get for next week's episode, where it's a clusterfuck? We accidentally watched next week's first.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to talk about this at great lengths at the start of the next episode. But, yeah, we watched next week's episode thinking it was this week's episode and didn't realise until, like, the last 15 minutes.
Legitimately, it took me 36 and a half minutes to notice.
Because when we were watching it, we're like, oh, we're getting replays from a Brutus versus...
This match.
Ted DiBiase. When did... Oh,
dear. Snap. The dog show threw me out, all right? It's the dog's fault. So, yeah, we get a recap of what's coming up next week. So we get...
Is it a recap if it's next week?
Well, you know what I mean? Okay, so yeah, you're right. Like, what's the word? A
prediction.
Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah, a prediction, what's going to happen next week. To sort of give us a rundown, we're going to have a 6-man tag. with Tatanka versus Shawn Michaels. Have got like respective teams.
Yeah, no God.
I'm looking forward to that, so that'll be good. There's a ring lady. She's just wandering around.
Look, just smiling.
The thing is, they've stretched a man off whose face we're supposed to believe has legitimately been caved in.
And there's like blood on the canvas.
Put some tits and ass out there. Quick. Send them home happy. And then we get a subtle clue that Hulk Hogan might be back next week.
Yeah,
basically,
because it's just Vince McMahon saying maybe we'll have Hulk Hogan on next week.
They probably should have just said you want to watch next week because Hulk Hogan's back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way,
I paid him a lot of money, so he better fucking turn up.
Well, I mean, he probably will be here next week. He might show up. But then again, anyone might show up.
God might turn up.
I'm glad we're the same way there. God might show up. Okay, Nathan, that was the February 15th, 1993 edition of Monday Night Raw. Good bits, bad bits. What did you like? What didn't you like?
I'm mixed, really. Like, because I feel like I enjoyed the show, but at the same time, I'm like, well, yeah, but the Battle Royale was very cluttered and messy at the beginning. Like, none of the singles matches were particularly memorable, apart from, like, the final one. I mean, sure, the Steiner Brothers are fun to watch, if only because, like, you think, okay, this week they're going to break someone's neck for sure. But, like, generally, yeah, it was slow, I'd put it. It was slow and chaotic, which, like, I wouldn't necessarily think of one and the same.
Yeah, it's almost like they've managed to do something that we would have previously assumed would be impossible.
Because, yeah, like I say, the Steiner match was fun enough, I guess. I mean, there was the Steiner Brothers versus a couple of nobodies, really. And then you had Yoko Zuna, who's Yoko Zuna.
Yeah.
Like, he's a beast, but he's not exactly a quick, and the matches aren't particularly long, so there's not a lot of time to enjoy them. And then you had the Battle Royal, and then, I mean, like I say, the final four people are fun, but you didn't really get enough of them to really enjoy it. And then there's Money Inc. versus Brutus Barber, Beefcake, which, was fun, I guess. It's nice to see Brutus in action, and like I say, he's not bad. He's certainly good for someone who's been out of the business for a couple of years. And, Ted DiBiase did a good job of putting himself over as an utter bastard. So, yeah, if I was to pick a match, I'd probably say the last one just for the story beats.
Yeah.
Like, the way they put forward the kayfabe, very good. Yeah. It really felt like a distressing scene.
Yeah.
Things
you didn't like? What didn't you like? Giant Gonzales?
Who?
I'm not going to lead you. You've got to make your own mind up.
That ending for the Battle Royale, Battle Royale was particularly unsavoury for me. Other than that, I wouldn't say any of the other parts were memorable enough to really be an issue.
Nothing stuck out as obnoxious enough, did it, to kind of really stick in the craw?
And I can't really fault them for the audio issues they had with the commentators' microphones.
No, it happens.
I feel like, okay, I'd say good bits. Vince McMahon was on the fucking ball this week. Like, he was carrying the weight of three people. Because, like, for the first half, it was just him and Rob Bartlett, which...
So he's doing all the work
Rest his soul for that.
Yeah.
And then it was Macho, who wasn't on the best form this week. Like, he started off, like, full of energy, but then his microphone, worked up and he just got...
him off, and then...
It upset him, it threw him off his game.
Yeah, and he was just like, well, fine.
He thought, right, Rob Bartlett's got out of the game, I've got to make the jokes now. And he's not a particularly humorous guy.
No.
He's not a wordsmith.
No.
Despite what his rap album might make you think. But, because he's all energy, he's all character, he's not words.
He can't give you an opinion. That's the thing.
No, unless it's like a story opinion. It's like, oh yeah, like
I like this
George
guy.
Gonzales, he's a scary man.
Yeah,
but
I like this guy because I've tagged with him. I don't like this guy because I've feuded with him. That's as far as you're going to get with an opinion with Macho Man. Because like you say, because he's stuck in the character. He can't say, oh, that takedown was a bit controversial. Or that ending was a bit dodgy.
You wouldn't have Vince McMahon say, well, Macho, what did you reckon to that? Well, actually, Vince, I thought he did very well there.
Yeah, he's too busy counting legs. He can't watch a match and count legs at the same time.
I just imagine through the entire battle race, it's like, 1, 2, damn it.
They moved again.
Hey, Kamala! How many legs are up there?
So for myself, I didn't like Giant Gonzales.
Really, Blake? No.
No, didn't like him very much. The Battle Royale was 15 minutes of madness.
Yeah, with maybe 5 minutes of entertainment.
Yeah, I think the show in all was I must be honest, I think I'm a bit more critical than you, which is fine. I appreciate your input.
That's fine, because I mean, you have a more keen eye for the actual wrestling itself, whereas I'm just going on. It wasn't a particularly entertaining show, but it wasn't boring either.
I like the
that's my
fact
opinion
we've
of
got
it.
a really nice relationship of I'm watching it as a performance of wrestling as an art. You're watching it as a TV show.
Yeah.
And between the two of us, we can formulate, I think, 100% rounded opinion. So the wrestling, by and large, was good to strong. But like you say, I just didn't feel like I had enough of the things that I cared about. So the Steiners at the beginning, I didn't have enough of that. I had too much of the Battle Royal. If they had, say, for example, the chaos at the beginning goes on for 6 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever. Then 8 minutes, 8 minute mark, that's it. You're down to your final four. Mm-hmm. And then you really, really, really build up who's going to go, who's going to get the better of someone, who's going to win this.
I don't mean to like take over your opinion here, but like I feel like one of the problems that I had with this particular episode is that they saved a lot of like the actual like good, talented wrestlers for the Battle Royale.
Yes.
So you had like no matches that were particularly high flying, and I know we don't tend to see that anyway, but a lot of it was just like slow brawler, like not, there wasn't much style to a lot of it.
That's the problem. I mean, obviously you can get a lot of wrestlers in, but as we've discussed before, no one gets a chance to shine. Not like, say, in a tag team where we had like Owen Hart and Coco Beware, and they're doing lots of quick flips and victory rolls and fun stuff, or like you haven't got the chance to get a bruiser on your show, like Damien Dementa. No, you can't showcase the Tanker, which is what you want to be doing, and Shawn Michaels and El Matador and Razor Ramon.
And you might know something about this, but what are they doing with Undertaker at the moment? Are they just saving him for the pay-per-views?
Well, he's on next week.
Oh, he is on next week, isn't he? I almost forgot. I wonder why I almost forgot.
So I think it's just one of those sort of things. Like, we haven't seen Brett wrestle on the show yet, so I think it's your big guys.
Haven't we?
No, Brett's not wrestled on the show.
No, he's done a talk, but he hasn't actually wrestled, has he?
Yeah. So I think we are looking at the mid-card being developed.
Yeah.
But why stickle your mid-card in one place, not giving it a chance to shine?
Yeah,
but that's what I would
who's
do.
going to tune into the Raw if it's just a bunch of like
I
low
think
to
this
mid-carders?
one is very much for the casual viewer. It's kind of look at all these crazy guys and gimmicks and look at all that's happening. So things I did like, the wrestling we got was good. I just wanted more of it. The commentary wasn't particularly egregious because Rob Bartlett didn't speak for most of it. Production-wise, I'm growing to love the Manhattan ballroom thing that they're in.
Yeah.
Like with its like chandeliers.
It's
and
cozy,
things.
isn't it?
It's nice, isn't it? It's like watching it on like the end of Brighton Pier or something. Do you know what I mean? It feels quaint. I'm growing on Macho Man and Vince McMahon as commentators. I'm really slowly getting ingratiated with this time where I think now watching something different or watching it later, I'm going to have like that weird tonal shift I had at the beginning because I'm going to be like, it's not like I remember because it's not like 1993. I liked all the goofiness, the ads, and just all the weird production bits. The bits I didn't like I say, the ending of the Battle Royale did really detract from it for me. I found the Brutus match, he's been gone 2-3 years, right? He's taken on a guy, Ted DiBiase. I haven't seen Ted DiBiase wrestle before, so I don't know what he's normally like. They do a good job of protecting Brutus and making sure he's safe, which is obviously the number one thing. Yeah, should be safe. So I don't matter. It doesn't matter to me if the wrestling's boring as long as it's safe. There's nothing worse than dangerous but boring still wrestling. Do you know what I mean? So I appreciate their effort to keep him safe and keep him on as a performer. But I feel like he is just a stepping stone to reintroducing Hulk Hogan. That's it.
Yeah, because I think
you know what I mean?
Talk
It's a weird
about this a bit next week of like, do you think Brutus was like they spent a lot of money on Hulk Hogan, so they thought, well, we could spare a few bits of like pocket change on Brutus. Rather the other way around. Sorry, they put a little bit of money on Brutus and thought, you know what, he
can probably draw Hulk Hogan back into the fold. So and also it makes sense in storylines as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's basically all it is. I found the match itself quite not Giant Gonzales ponderous, but I mean even then, if you can get the crowd going by doing the same 3 or 4 punches and throwing him over the top rope, then fucking good on him. He must be liked.
Like
he must
Goldberg.
be popular. Yeah. I mean, I can't see Brutus Barber Beefcake beating the Fiend in 3 moves, but there we go.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, you forgot what happened as well, didn't you?
I try.
I'm actually going to be controversial here. I'm going to say I think my favourite match of the evening was the Steiners.
No, that's probably my second pick.
Yeah, I think the Steiners. We get a tag team match every week. And I always get a bit of like giddy pride or sort of giddy excitement when I see the Steiners come in, and I'm like, oh, cool, because you know it's going to be competent and a bit kind of goofy but fun.
At the same time, like I'm kind of the opinion of, okay, I know that I do like tag team matches, but they don't get revolutionized until like the 1999.
No, it is a very.
I'm just like they're waiting. It's like, oh, Where are my Dudley boys?
It is a very sort of tried and tested style of match.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone at this point, probably other than Owen and Coco, are going to be innovating in a tag team. It's going to basically be, okay, you guys are in a tag team tonight. That's probably why they can throw two random people together and they seem to work. Because all tag teams operate basically the same.
Yeah,
Do you get what I mean?
it's all just, it's a standard format.
Yeah, so it's like anyone can basically do it. It's like it's not like a specialized division. It's just an extra thing that you just would do.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me speculating. So that was that. I mean, overall, I liked it less than next week, but better than last week, I think.
Really, you prefer this one over next week's episode?
Hang on.
You liked this less
hang
than
on.
next week, is what you said.
Hang on. I liked this one less than next week.
So you do prefer next week's episode?
Oh, I don't know. I'm getting confused. I can't remember.
The one with Hulk Hogan doing a lot of talking.
Yeah.
You prefer
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan doing a talk?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. No, I'm not going to argue with your opinion. It's fine.
Well, we'll see next week who the real winner is.
I think it's just
maybe.
because I got so upset about next week's episode.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So I think but I mean the product is just now hit a really nice groove. I mean, I think the next pay-per-view we're heading for is WrestleMania. So we've got a long while in storyline wilderness to sort of carry us through, haven't we? So yeah, we'll see what happens when we get there. But next week we'll be discussing +7, the 21st. Raw, 21st of February of Raw.
This was
Somewhere around there?
this was the 15th, wasn't
Yeah.
it? So it'd be the 22nd, right?
22nd. Yeah, maybe. Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Might be.
Well,
We don't know.
When you turn next week's episode on, if you come back after this giddy shambles, then you'll find out, won't you? But yeah, so that was that. I mean, I'm looking forward to next week. And I can give all my opinions about next week's wrestling.
Okay, but before we go, Blake, what were the results of the dog show?
The results of the dog show.